Okay, shalom, shalom, shalom. Kwam Yasha'Allah, Koholoyumla, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Chahakodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and that by the Spirit taught us His beautiful truth. Just want to say the water to all the H.I.M and Akwaf that's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai to the best of their ability. This is Yachanan Nawak, just coming at you with another quick lesson, praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. And just wanted to just touch on what is that, Proverbs, I think it's 3 and 31, or is it Ecclesiastes? Salakia, but roughly paraphrasing it, the scripture says, to envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. And that's pretty much what's got our people into, a lot of the shit that we're in as far as the captivity, just wanting to be like these other nations for one. But speaking from a standpoint of where we are today and being in this last captivity of these Edomites here in the Americas, and wherever we are, you know what I'm saying? Wherever the men of the Lord are, it's a beautiful thing to wake up to this truth and to learn what Yahweh Bashim Yahushai has said about overall, being prosperous, being protected, your days being prolonged, you know what I'm saying? Even though we're in this captivity, you know what I'm saying, we can do better than the average carnal person. But, choosing the ways of Esau, and I'm just kind of seeing, we see it all the time, but, it just dawned on me today, just hit me, that scripture that talks about drinking water out of your own cistern. Esau, or these pastors, they like to try and use that particular chapter as if, you know what I'm saying, you're only supposed to just be with one woman and all this other stuff. But spiritually, that's going into overall living by the words of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai and not the words of these nations, because these nations, they're heathen. The Lord gave us the law. Look at that 144 up on top of the hook up there. The Lord gave us the law, statutes, and commandments for a reason. He gave us the law. The things that He told us not to do, that's what, the heathen were doing. The things that He told us to do, the heathen were not doing. That's why the Lord, He told us, don't do what these nations are doing. So when the Lord said, when it goes into, being patient, Esau is very impatient. The Lord He deals with duality. He created a people that are totally opposite of the scriptures, and He created a people that should follow the scriptures, and that goes into the children of Israel, because He only gave the laws, the statutes, and commandments to the children of Israel. That's Psalms 147 and 19 and verses 20. Where it talks about, where the Lord, He showeth His word unto Jacob, His statutes and His judgments unto Israel. With these other nations He have not done so. I think that's Amos 3 and 3. No, I think it's 3 and 1 possibly. And I'm driving, so I'm roughly paraphrasing scriptures. But the Lord said, "You only have I known of all the families of the earth." So we're under that contract still to this very day. But you can clearly see that keeping the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of our ability is far greater than anything on this planet, man. Because if you're living like Esau, you're living a life of death. There's nothing that comes with the way that Esau gets down. Look at the planet. Look at the way he's running shit. Look at this man, giving your woman all these damn rights. Now she's above you. That's off. With that comes, a bad household. Your children are out of control. That all comes from, choosing the ways of the oppressor. Your children going upside your damn head. See, we had laws where we dealt with the children, you know what I'm saying? But see, Esau, he has made it against the law for you to actually even discipline your children. The scripture says to train up a child in the way that they should go. And when when they're older, they will not forget, roughly paraphrasing. Esau said, no, we'll handle your children. We will bring them to our schools. You know what I'm saying? And you can see how disrupted these kids are. They don't have their attention span is zero. And then once you got a generation going into another generation of this degenerate shit, all you're going to get is chaos. But that comes from the ways of the enemy. That's why, when we come into this truth and when the Lord awakens us, we're to come out of this man's ways. It's that Micah 2:10, where it says, come out of her, my people, basically. It says that this place, basically, it would destroy you with a sword of destruction, roughly paraphrasing. And you can see that we're sorely destroyed as a people. And that comes from living like the heathen, man. We're in a heathen's government, so to speak, right? Because when our new government comes, it's going to be a righteous government. It's going to be a righteous government. This is not a righteous government. It's nothing but crime, thievery, flattering tongues, no real justice. We're talking about some people that actually stole this continent, stole the land, murdered, raped, robbed, and pillaged the people. And then he set up his courthouses, you know what I'm saying, and make you put your hand on the Bible and swear in the name of his idol, white Jesus. And a lot of our people, that's choosing the ways of the enemy as well, that white Jesus shit. And that's a number one reason why our people are destroyed too, because of course, just dealing with idols, the Lord is just gonna mess you up anyway. Just is what it is. There's nothing good that comes out of no type of idol worship. We already know that. But white Jesus, that image has really fucked our people up real bad, because they've been taught by Esau that that this particular image, he loves everything. He loves everybody. He loves you. And no matter what you do, you can be forgiven, and you're already saved by grace and all that weirdo shit. So by our people following and behind that, they're sorely destroyed, because they feel as if there's no accountability. But the thing is all out of course. The earth is all out of course because the men of the Lord are not running the planet, and that's what the Lord is coming back for. He's coming back to set things back in order, right? Because you got a man that the bases of men are running the planet. You got the bases of men running the planet, man. The planet is beautiful, man. When you look at some nature channels and stuff like that, you can see. But this man, he has truly killed a lot of stuff off, man. A lot of stuff that's needed and necessary. Hey, this man, he will make, if he has his way, or if he gets to rule any longer, the human race will become extinct. It's a lot of animals that's not, I'm sure it's probably some, I can't say they're extinct, because I believe that the Lord will not let any of his creation go extinct like that. But we talking about the point of it being depleted to the point of no existence, basically. That's Esau, man. That's him. And choosing his ways, that's why, just speaking on the gifts of the Spirit, being temperate, being patient. That's not Esau a cup of tea, man. He's not patient at all. So what do you have? The scripture talks about how, just like how the rulers are, so are the people, roughly paraphrasing. So when you have an impatient people running shit, then of course your citizens are going to be impatient. And with impatience comes what? These tempers, angry fly-offs, you know what I'm saying? They just fly right off the top of the head and say any damn thing that they choose to say. They don't have no regard for, what the consequences are. They don't care. Now, they're going into the scriptures, the Lord, wisdom covers that. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to just be flying off the handle. Let the fool be the fool. We're to be wise. You know what I'm saying? That's what these scriptures are about, man, to give us wisdom. We should be growing in wisdom daily. You should be praying and asking Yahweh Bashim Yahushua to help you grow in wisdom, man. Giving you more oil, fresh oil every day. Because again, you can clearly see Esau's unhinged. I was just reading about an 89-year-old. It was over in Greece, though. But yeah, he went off the handle, man. They cut his Social Security He went to the Social Security Funds office, and with his shotgun, he had his revolver. Hey, he's in that bitch letting go. But you think somebody that old would be like, nah, I'm not gonna do anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you done been on Earth damn near a century, and that was your first thoughts. But people are pissed though. People are mad. It's a lot of unhinged people out here, man. They're crashing out because these governments are not treating the citizens the way that they should be treated with all the taxes that they take from them. They're feeling like, they're just being overworked, underpaid, not getting enough rest, not enjoying enough life. They're not able to get out here. It's only a select few. You got your little baby boomers and shit around Trump age that had that opportunity to really go out, own a home, and really that's that last age of where Esau, his woman would stay at home. She would take care of the children. She would do all the cooking, cleaning, and all those things. The man would go out, and go to work, you know what I'm saying, and handle all the bills with one job. You're not doing no shit like that no more. And then actually really pay off a home. Had a new car, all that. You know what I'm saying? Able to just send their kids to college, send their kids to the finest schools. That's done. That's a done deal. But that generation of people, they're dying off. They're dying off. And so the only ones that'll really benefit from them dying, would be their children, which, you know what I'm saying, can possibly inherit the home that they actually bought. Because other than that, you're not able to buy no home like that no more. If you do go out here and get one of these predatory ass loans, and then at the same time too, you get behind on your taxes on the damn land you threw anyway. They're gonna take that bitch back anyway. But there was a time where people could afford all that, man, and not have no problems, go on a nice vacation, really enjoy the planet, really enjoy the earth. And Esau is losing it, man. They can't do that anymore, But going back to the subject of choosing under this man's ways, we have to really, that's what really fucks with him. That's really what kills him, you know what I'm saying? Like, who are these guys that's teaching this Bible that don't want to live by the way that I say to live? Who are these? Who the fuck do they think they are? That's the way these Edomites looking at you, because they don't see you they don't see us as men having integrity, having respect, not running around he and cracking a goddamn joke and trying to make them feel comfortable. They don't like that, man. They're seeing that they're losing power. They see that their women are fucking with Jake. And they always say, hey, when you lose your woman, it's a done deal. But that's pretty much what happened to us. And it happened to us because, you know what I'm saying, the way that we basically, hey, we committed adultery on the Lord. So the Lord, set it up where our women would be these whores that you have today. But that's why, we getting this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding back. And going to our kingdom, it's going to be back the way that it's supposed to be. It's going to be in order. It's not going to be no wild ass children running around. It's not going to be no women running their goddamn mouth and talking shit. I seen an article yesterday. The dude, she stabbed the fucking dude up and shit. I guess they had some dinner plans. She was expecting to go out to dinner, but he decided to say, I'm gonna bring something, and he was gonna do the cooking. And that bitch was so mad, man. She stabbed him through the heart, man, with a fucking kitchen knife. Killed the man. He's only like 26. And then the crazy part too was he had spoken. The neighbor said that he had spoken to her or him. Matter of fact, it said that he gave them his full name. He said because something could possibly happen to him dealing with this woman, because I guess they had her arguments. He was afraid of the woman, you know what I'm saying, telling the neighbor. And that's what the neighbor told the investigators, That's how they happened to know his full name. One of the neighbors remembered his name. He was like, please, remember my name, write my name down. But if you know that about this bitch, why the fuck didn't you should have just skated. You should have just got away from her, man. But anyway, that's the, this is the type of kingdom that we live in. You know what I'm saying? This is Esau's kingdom is backwards. It's a reversal of what the Lord said to do. But in the meanwhile, he has his hands on the Bible. That's why that scripture says, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes? Or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth, since thou hatest instructions and castest my words behind thee. What are you doing with the Bible? Now they doing Bible teachings and shit at the fucking White House. The Department of War, Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth is holding Bible studies and shit at and doing all, you got that witch Paula White Kane, supposedly Trump's spiritual advisor. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are y'all doing with the scriptures, man? You're wicked as hell. But that's the devil, man. That's the deceiver right there. That's they're the spiritual, they're the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan on this planet. Somebody got to do his bidding. And they run out here, they smile, they give you that look of, and it's not working no more. It's like people already know they lying. It's just but they still just do it though. With that big ass smile on their face. That boy Trump, man, is that motherfucker. It's rare that he's telling anything that's truthful, bro. That motherfucker lie his ass off. His whole cabinet, though, they're all a bunch of damn liars. And then when they go to these congressional meetings and they're being questioned by Congress and these different people, they motherfuckers can't even answer a straight question. It can be a yes or no question, and they will run all around the world with that shit to just basically not answer the question, because they're not truthful people. And that's another thing too. Esau, if you, that's why these people are such fucking liars, man. They come through, with that flattery and try and get what they trying to get out of you. That's deceptive. They get what they want out of you, you know what I'm saying? And then they on to the next one to see who else they can fucking jip. And that's going into what's that, 2 Timothy chapter 3, where it talks about in the last days perilous times shall come. But it gives you a whole list of things, or the ways that people would be acting like, or the way that the people would be before the Lord's coming, basically. It says that they would be boasters, lovers of their own selves. They would be traitors, they would be heady, high-minded. They would be disobedient to parents, without natural affection, fierce, boasters. It's a whole list of things. And that is actually being like the oppressor, because that's Esau's way of life. That's his thing. But you got the people, again, just like how the the ruler is, so are the people. So the people are the same way as the ruler, man. That's why it says, again, envy thou not the oppressor and choose none of his ways, because that's all death. That's got to do with death. That's got to do with your ass is gonna get punished, man. You're gonna get judged in a harsh way. That's why you see so much crime, man. That's nothing but death, man. Esau, he pushes nothing but, he can't help it though. I mean, that's his lot. That's his lot. But in the meanwhile, that's what makes him so dangerous though. Because he's able to slither his way. That's why the scripture talks about how the serpent, he was more, basically more subtle or more wiser than any of the beasts of the field. This man is a cunning hunter. He's great at lying. He's great at setting the trap. He's the cunning hunter, man. Because once you get caught into that trap, it's too late. So again, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna end out. I'm pretty much at my destination, but it just hit me, you know what I'm saying? Like, you doing anything that's got to do with the way that these Americans do things, then you're going off, man. There's nothing righteous about this place at all. At all, man. You supposed to be looked at as being different or off. Like, you know, like, I don't get it. I don't understand that. I don't understand him. You know? Fuck whether you understand me or not. You know? Because this man is not to be trusted, because he's constantly on the move with the trap, man. He's eventually going to get you if you're moving in his way. It's best to just stay the hell away from him. But most definitely, spiritually, we have to, you know, really stay away from Esau's way of life, man, because it's death. There's no, I can't put it no other way. This man, he's death, man. So I'm gonna end out there, man. You know, hey, be circumspect. We almost there. This man is being exposed daily. They're coming unhinged, and it's gonna come a point where, you know, all this shit is about to just shut down, man. It's about to shut down. It's, you know, people are in crash out mode now. So with that, shalom.